Yo, what is up, guys? Undead here, and today I'm gonna be doing my review on Artemis Fowl. It was originally going to release in theaters. I think I remember it having an August of 2019 release date. I saw that on the poster, and then it got delayed. This film was delayed many times. I wouldn't call it the New Mutants of Disney because I have no idea how many times this film got delayed, but I do know it was delayed a lot. But instead of it being delayed due to COVID-19, I mean, it was kind of delayed, but it wasn't too long. It was delayed from its May of 2020 release date to June 12th of 2020 as a Disney Plus original. Literally, it makes sense that Disney had no faith in this movie. That's why they released it on Disney Plus. Like, why would people be thinking that this would be the next Harry Potter? This would be Disney's substitute of the Harry Potter franchise. Because, look, I never read the Artemis Fowl book, but I do know what I'm about to say about this movie. It wasn't good. Yeah, how surprising. I think a lot of people don't think this movie's good. It has a 4 out of 10 on IMDb. I mean, it makes sense. IMDb hates everything. And it has a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Holy crap. This is like the same levels as Fan Four Stick or the Emoji Movie. If this movie was as bad as Fan Four Stick, then and I would be ranting all over the place on how bad it was. But Fan Four Stick is the type of movie I like have fits over if it's bad because it was really bad. Anyway, enough talking about Fantastic Four or something. Let's talk about Artemis Fowl. The film is, of course, based on a book, like I said, and the film starts out in some sort of a place in front of this mansion, and this dwarf dude, played by Josh Gad, is in some sort of a gulag in the ocean. Honestly, Josh Gad's character is the best part of this movie. Like, he's really funny. I got a laugh out of him here and there. And plus, Josh Gad does well Josh Gad does well. Sorry, guys, those are my dogs. Josh Gad does really well on acting, even in bad movies. He kind of makes them pretty better. The only times that I did not enjoy his character was one, Olaf in Frozen 2, because Olaf was not as entertaining as I thought he was in the first film. And Ted from Little Monsters. Go watch Little Monsters on Hulu. It is way better than this movie. Josh Gad's character in that is more of a dick, but hey, let's get back to Artemis Fowl. So yeah, the whole movie is just exposition. It's your cliched character telling the story on what happened, and of course, like I said, this film is just exposition. The film starts out with saying, Artemis Fowl loves Ireland. He loves to go surfing, and he hates school. Oh, God. And they also explain that he has a dead mother, and then when the school therapist mentioned that his mother died, I was like, oh my God, we're doing this again, Disney. We're doing this. If you know Disney, if you watched a single Disney movie, you would know that this is a cliche. Like, dead parents. This isn't Batman anymore. I don't get a tear when I watch Frozen or Lion King or Batman anymore. Batman's not a Disney movie, but I don't get a tear anymore. I mean, Batman's origin story was told a lot, and Mufasa's death is one of the best scenes in Lion King. It was very touching. And the parents' deaths in Frozen, that was pretty emotional because it came out of nowhere. I mean, but then again, the parents barely appeared in the advertising, which is what I remember. So yeah, it was an impactful death. I didn't cry. I was like, really, Disney? We're doing this again? Can there be a Disney movie where both parents are alive? Sure, there's a bunch of Disney movies like that, like Zootopia, Moana, and even Mulan. But where can we get a movie where both parents are dead? I'm at alive. Sorry, I don't have a script for this. I'm sorry. The X-Men leak video had a script, but this one doesn't have a script. I'm just naming what I remember. Anyway, hey, it shows us a montage on what Artemis likes to do with his dad, which Artemis Fowl is quote-unquote Artemis Fowl Jr. Like I said, I haven't read the book, so I know nothing about this. I know nothing about the source material. And even if I did read the book and I loved it, I would notice some differences between the source material. So anyway, they tell us that, of course, Artemus loves his dad, and his dad tells him stories of mythical creatures and blah, 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 blah. And his dad owns a business, and he's a criminal now, and this and that. And then this random black guy just shows up. I'm sorry. When Artemis's dad gets kidnapped by this thing, which we have no idea who is, which I'm not going to talk about the ending until... I'm not going to talk about the ending until we get there, but, like, when that news report scene saying that Artemis' dad is a criminal, and he must be taken to justice, oh, now he's missing. Great, it's not like somebody's already got him. Anyway, then this random black guy shows up out of nowhere, and his name is quote-unquote Butler. I mean, I know there's a bunch of people named Butler, but he also has a niece, which also comes out of nowhere. This film is just entire exposition, and the characters, except for Josh Gad's character, is who you barely feel bad for. I barely feel bad for any of these characters. There's even a subplot of this fairy, like, you know, there's this fairy force, there's this Green Lantern fairy police force. Like, there's a subplot of this girl fairy, who, I forgot her name. I think her name was Polly? No. I don't know. I don't want to watch this movie again. I mean, I might watch it again if I do, like, some sort of a nostalgia critic type review. But there's a subplot of like, her trying to figure out how to become a better soldier and this and that, and the general wants her to do good with a great low rate. I'll stop. With a great low rate, you could get online, go to the general, and you save some time. Okay, I'll stop. So anyway... Hey, of course, she heads into the surface world, she meets up with the troll, she meets up at a wedding in some sort of Prague-type place, and like, the film feels rushed. Like, with everything that's going on, the film feels rushed. I mean, it feels just so rushed to get it done. I'm sorry, that's all I can explain this movie. It just feels so rushed. The film is nothing but exposition. There's barely any, like, you know, the film barely has any patience to introduce the characters. And yeah, the film just seems like your cliched, rushed Disney cash grab, which, honestly, Disney had no faith in this movie. That's why it's releasing on Disney+. And so, now... Alright, so let's get back to the plot. I forgot there was a plot in this movie. That's what you're gonna feel like. So yeah, we head back to Artemis and the black dude, and now we just go on to the fairy chick, and it turns out her father is dead. Oh my god, surprising. Not every character needs to have a parent. Oh, not every character needs to have a dead parent, Disney. When are you gonna learn that? Bob Chapek, instead of focusing on, like, okay, you know what, if, like, I'm gonna make a little tiny political point. If you're gonna make identity politics in your movies, if you want to introduce more, or I don't want to say it right now. Plus, there's none. If you want to introduce more LBG bajillion characters, then, like, how about get rid of a different cliche? There's no LBG bajillion. I say that because it's like the entire alphabet now. There's even plus at the end. Like, you know what I'm talking about. There's no alphabet character in Artemis Fowl, which I do not mind. I'm not the type of person to point that out. I'm not the type of person to complain, oh, there's no character with a certain sexuality in this movie. I'm not the type of complaints about that. I'm not an SJW. I just watch this movie for what it is. So anyway, hey, like, you know, the film feels rushed, like I said, and I barely know what's going on. Pixie gets kidnapped by Artemis and Butler Man, and Butler Man's quote-unquote niece. It feels like some sort of a daughter relationship, but no, it's his quote-unquote niece. And so now, of course, we head into a war with the time bomb that slows down time and blah, 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 blah. I don't remember what's happened in this movie. And, like, the movie ends with the time bomb going off, the fairies evacuating, and the dwarf going to prison, and then that's where we go back to the beginning of the film. Like, you know that cliche movies where, like, a character is telling the story, and, like, during the movie, you forgot about that guy telling the story? Like, you know, Jonah, and Smurfs, and, okay, it's used a lot, but I can't name another movie. Yeah, it's early in the morning. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to go into many stuff. Man, this movie's so bad. I mean, there were some parts I enjoyed about it, like the acting, the actors, the acting was good, but like what they're told to do, it just feels so sad. I mean, this has a director, the director who directed Thor, and I'm not talking about Ragnarok, I'm talking about Thor 1. This has the director of Thor 1 and the live-action Cinderella, which are two movies that I liked. I didn't like Thor that much, but and the special effects, the CGI, the special effects are pretty good. I can say that. I have no problem with the effects. Like, no one should. They're pretty good. And with the movie that's so bad and so rushed, I really feel bad on the money spent for the CGI. Anyway, hey, yeah, that's it. Okay, if any of you have seen the movie, you've probably seen this dark, shadowy figure that had Artemis's dad captive. That goes nowhere. I mean, like it's ended off on a cliffhanger. Like, all we see is just a setup for a sequel. It kind of feels like fan-four-stick. It's just exposition, setting up a sequel. I don't think there's gonna be a sequel to this movie. It's highly unlikely. I didn't like it. A bunch of people didn't like it. 4 out of 10 on IMDb. I'm a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Man, there's no point with the sequel. I mean, I'm down for a reboot. I'm down for, like, a better movie that is not rushed, and the actors are paid well, and the CGI has a point. I mean, yes, the CGI is by far the best part of the movie. I mean, I could have liked it if they've done better with the script. I would have liked it if the writing was better. I would have liked it if the characters were, like... I would have liked it if the characters actually had a point in this movie, because Butler, all he does is, like, you know, he has this running joke saying, I'm not gonna cry, I don't want to cry, I'm too old to cry, this and that. And, like, you know, he's a quote-unquote old friend of Artemis's dad. Okay, let's go back to the shadowy figure. He or she goes nowhere, because I was like, you know, if there's gonna be no sequel, why would you set up a dark, shadowy figure? Like, I want to know who that figure is. Like, coming from the director or the actor's mouth, instead of just a sequel, because I bet no one wants a sequel. Disney isn't the studio who made Alpha and Omega, or Open Season, or North of the North. Films that the studios don't understand that people hated, and they just kept on making more straight-to-DVD, straight-to-streaming sequels, this and that. And it's pretty annoying, like, you know, so many Alpha and Omega sequels, so many Open Season sequels, so many North of the North sequels. Like, no one notices that those films are bad. No one in the studio notices that they're bad. It's not gonna make them money. I mean, Disney, no matter how much I say they're stupid, they are at least smart on what they're doing. They're at least smart on what they're doing with movies. Anyway, guys, I give Artemis Fowl a 4 out of 10. Just like IMDb, a 4 out of 10. And like I said, the action was enjoyable. The CGI was pretty good. The acting was good. The characters weren't. The film just feels rushed. The film is just nothing but lazy writing, exposition. It's a bad movie. It's not as bad as Fan4Stick or Food Fight. It's just your typical bad movie. Anyway, guys, I am Undead, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.